There's a secret formula that can take any business from barely surviving to being an automated cash flow machine. In this video, you discover the 4 stages every business owner must be aware of if they want to move their business forward and become more profitable. What is systemization? Systemization is implementing systems, processes to optimize, organize, extract, and identify bottlenecks within your business. Why is it important, you might be thinking? It's because it allows you as a business owner to create time, to reduce errors, and to be more profitable as a business. And that's if you do it correctly. We'll talk about how to do this correctly and what systems to put in place when it comes to sales, hiring, automating operational processes within your business in later videos. So, there are 4 stages of business systemization. You have the survival stage, you have the stationary stage, the scalable stage, and my favorite of them all, the sailable stage. So what do these things mean? So if we start with the survival stage, in short, what we identify when your business is in the survival stage is, the first thing is that every business owner finds themselves in the survival stage when starting a business. By default, once you've started your business, you're always going to be in a survival stage. You're always going to be in an endless loop of chasing work, getting work, and fulfilling work. What do we mean by chasing work? Your manual outreach, getting work, getting leads on a call, trying to close them, taking them through your sales cycle, your first stage calls, your discovery calls, your closing calls. And say you've closed the client, you've brought them on board, you now need to fulfill the work, right? So you're just in that loop, and you notice that there's a common sense of ups and downs with your performance, and your results are inconsistent. Some days you might get leads coming in, some days you might be closing deals, some days you might not even have no inbound or no calls booked in your calendar. You might be thinking, what's going on? This is the survival stage. This is what it means to be in the survival stage as a business owner. And this might be because things are not flowing yet. What does that mean? It means that you're still trying to figure out your offer, for instance, or you're still trying to figure out who your ideal customer profile is. What are their pain points? Pivoting. There's a lot of pivoting happening in this stage. As a business owner, you might start with servicing one side of the business or one side of your clients, for example, and you're chopping and changing. You're changing your offer, you're changing your prices, and this is all because you're in the survival stage and because things are not clicking yet. Also, as a business owner, you notice that you spend 80% of your time problem solving and putting out fires, barely executing all those cool ideas that you have in your business, things that you want to do. And you also notice there's an element of you trying new things, but you never seem to complete them. You're always starting things. You're not really dropping them, but you're moving on to the next because there isn't time to try and finish things off. So there's always that sense and that idea that I'm starting things, but I'm not actually finishing them. There's zero completion. And again, this might be because you might be a one-man team. You might not have any employees yet. Or if you're lucky, you might have a business partner. And there are no systems in place. People don't know what they're doing. Everyone's doing everything within the business, right? Or for instance, you as a business owner might be aware of systems, but you don't really value them yet, or you don't really think it's necessary yet as to, okay, what systems do I bring in place? You have a feeling that, hey, this process is very tedious, very manual. There must be some sort of system that can allow me to do this on the fly or do this quicker and save more time. I know you've had moments like that where you thought, for instance, when it comes to manual outreach and sending cold DMs or sending cold emails, and you think, okay, good, this has to be automated some way. So this is pretty much the survival stage, and this is what you might be facing. And this takes us into the next stage of systemization when it comes to business processes, is stationary phase. This is the phase, in summary, where a lot's happening, but you don't feel like your business is moving forward. You don't feel like you're moving forward. But the thing is that you are starting to get momentum in your business. You're starting to build some sort of consistency. Things are being done, right? So things are being completed, but they're not perfect. But you probably have the mindset, hey, it gets the job done. I work with some of my clients, and then there's this notion of 80-20. Just complete 80% of the task, or complete 80% of a process, and that's fine. Don't really focus on completing things 100%. And this is what you find when you're in a stationary stage of your business. There's also a lack of transparency across the business, and you still find yourself being very team dependent. You might have hired a few employees at this stage. Most likely you would. You've probably brought in a virtual assistant. You've probably brought in some sales reps, some closers, and there's still dependencies on teams, and there's still no sense of where do you go to find what to do when there's an issue. You might already have some documentations in place, but no one knows where to find them. You might already have some tools and systems in place, but they're probably not even working as you expected, or they might be a bit siloed. They're not integrating properly, and they don't really gel at this stage. And you as a business owner might be spending most of your time spinning plates. You might be creating to-do lists for your virtual assistants, and there's no sense of task delegation process where you've created a task for one of your employees to complete. They've completed it, but they don't really know what to do next, and now you have to circle back and actually create a new task and assign it to them. So it's all manual, it's all tedious. You feel like you're just spinning plates, and the cycle never ends. Hence why your business feels like it's in a stationary stage. And the secret to actually getting out of the stationary stage, which I find most of my clients in, and I say this to all my clients, is first things is that you need to start extracting and documenting all your core systems that you're currently using or utilizing within your business. So all the processes that you currently do as a business owner. So all your standard operating procedures, making a list of them and documenting them. This would put your business in a position where you can now say, okay, cool, I can now be out of the stationary phase. Things are starting to look more positive, and this can get you to the next stage, which is the scalable stage. And I'd say 80 to 90% of businesses, organizations, whether it's online businesses or established businesses, find themselves in. As a business analyst for 6 years in the corporate space, I found myself working in departments and teams that are very much in the scalable stage. What does that mean? It means that they have systems. They have systems in place, they have processes in place, and they have core systems documented. But there's always that element of things are not really all the way there yet. So they have systems that work, but they're not organized yet. They have a sense of their systems being improved dramatically from where they were in the stationary phase and in the survival phase, but a few things need to be ironed out, like reminding teammates on following the process, reminding teammates on where to find things. But the positive thing about being in the scalable stage as a business owner is that there's no more resistance. You've already established, or you're starting to create that culture of systemization within your organization, and people are starting to see the value of implementing systems, and the value of reducing errors, the value of creating more time for yourself, for employees, and the value of actually leveraging systems to having a competitive edge in your market and to be more profitable, and also most importantly to service your customers better. So what you then notice, and what you should be doing once you've identified there's no more resistance and things are working, the job is getting done, is that you want to scale what's working into other areas of your organization, into other areas of your business. And what this looks like is introducing systems, for instance HR systems, and actually creating systems around your HR department, your finance department, and also your CRM department. And if you've got different team members, you might want to create a documentation system where all your core documentations live. So you might want to have, for instance, Box, which is something that I've worked with a lot with some of my clients, or even Notion, for instance, or Google. So Google Drive. So there's a lot of work you can do and customization you can do around actually creating a forum, for instance, for your business, and a go-to one-stop shop that your employees can actually go in and find everything without following up, chasing up, and speaking to a VA that's probably somewhere in the Philippines and different time difference. So taking what's worked in one area of your business and then scaling it across the board is the next step, and this is very important. And I think for me, when working with clients, I really step on the fact that you now need to be in a position where you're being proactive, right? So you're identifying errors before they actually scale. You're identifying business problems, business issues before they actually scale into serious business issues. For instance, that could be maybe you get feedback from a lead or a customer that's not quite happy with your service, and for instance, you have a customer success manager or customer success agent that's monitoring the email where customers can leave feedbacks, and they might be out of office at the time. And these are something, as a business owner, as a business in the scalable stage, you want to take seriously. You want to address straight away. You don't want to wait a couple of days or a week to go by without actually addressing an issue like this. So you could have a system in place where everyone gets notified if there is a feedback from a customer, right? So now you are being proactive, and you're reducing errors before they actually turn into serious errors for you as a business owner. Lastly, there's this thing called the good enough trap that I find a lot of employees, business owners start operating in. So they start creating a mindset. They start saying or having this mindset of, oh, it's good enough. Things are working, so it's fine. 80%. It's not broken, don't fix it type of mindset. And it's fair enough. It's you'd see it as, yes, you might be right, it's good enough. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But it's a trap, because the exciting thing is that your opportunities and your wins are on the other side of it's good enough. So the other side of being in a scalable stage, that's where you find the big wins. That's where you find the big opportunities. That's where you as a business owner want to strive to get to, because that's the essence of running a business. That's the position where you're providing excellent service. You have all your processes systemized. You have each department working simultaneously. You have systems working, and the big wins come up, right? We'll talk more on what the big wins are when we move on to the next stage, because it's something I've experienced personally as my time as a startup founder and starting startup businesses. In my last business, which I also think my last business, I'm going on a tangent here, but in my last business, we were able to exit our business to our lending partner, and we were in the saleable stage, right? So this is the last stage, and personally, I think this is the most exciting stage when it comes to business systemization, because you've now created a sellable asset. Your business is now an asset, and by no means am I saying that you should sell your business or you should exit your business, because that's obviously your choice. But the main thing is that you now have a business that's systemized and has a culture that values systems and processes and working effectively and efficiently, and puts you at a different level, when operating as a business, because your systems are working and people are working the systems, not people being worked by the systems or people working how they want to work. So at this stage, systems are working, processes are working, and you've got people that are working the systems, people that are working hand in hand and leveraging the systems to actually work effectively and efficiently. Also, at this stage, you have a clear way of doing business. You know, you're no longer dependent on yourself. Your business is no longer dependent on you as a business owner, and you don't have team working in silos, right? So you're no longer the bottleneck of the business, which is the key things and the main goals of systemizing your business. So, you know, you're leveraging systems, you're scaling, you're growing, you're operating at a high level, and you're using systems to become a competitive advantage. Another thing at this stage is you've now developed a constant, never-ending improvement mindset. So you're always moving forward. Okay, what can we do better? You're in an agile mindset, and you're also utilizing the agile methodology, where you're always iteratively building, designing, and reviewing your systems and processes, just to always be at the best form when working within your organization. So as a business leader, this is also an exciting stage, because you can now start focusing on the vision, the mission. How can we upsell our clients? How can we provide better services? You know, and you as a business owner, how can you optimize your performance as a leader? You know, how can you perform better? What do you need to be working on? How can you also now, because you're working in your business, you're working on your business, you can focus on the strategic aspect of your business, the growth. You know, where do you guys want to get to in the next quarter? What are your goals? And to conclude, I believe when you're on the saleable stage of business systemization, you have achieved complete business reliability. You know, you operate a reliable business. Your business can operate without you. You know, you can sleep at night. You can, for instance, travel the world. You can be in different places. You can tap into other opportunities that you wouldn't ever thought about, because you're so immersed in your business and trying to fix problems and trying to get things done, and you're stressed. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you're just living in anxiety, and you're living at a scarcity stage, because you genuinely don't know what's going to happen. And as a business owner, you can't be operating at this mindset, and it's not beneficial to you, your mental health. It's not beneficial to your business, your employees, and also your okay. To conclude, at this point you might be thinking, so Dave, what stage is my business in? You know, am I in the survivor stage? Am I in the scalability stage? You know, am I in the stationary stage? And I think it's very important, because you also might be thinking, okay, yeah, but my business is different. This is not relatable to my business. How can I systemize my business? I run an e-com business, or I run this type of business, and I don't really know how I can systemize business. And these are all common thoughts you might be having at this point. And also you might be thinking, oh, there's so many AI tools, I'm not sure which is best. I understand that there's some value in systemization, but I'm not sure what's best, what I should be using, what's going to work for me, what's not scam, for instance. And maybe you know these things. As a business owner, you're in a position where you're stuck, where you know that some of these tedious manual tasks that you're carrying out have to be automated in some way, but you don't know, or you don't have time to do this. And this is a done for you service I provide to my customers. And I think in on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be talking more about how to identify the stage you're in, and I'll be diving more into this concept in later videos, and how to, you know, utilize some AI tools, or what systemizations you can put in place, and what systems you can put in place when it comes to hiring VAs, for instance, when it comes to training VAs, for instance, when it comes to automating your sales process, when it comes to cold emailing. So these are all stuff I'm going to be diving into, so don't you worry. Yeah, I got you covered. So to conclude, if you find this video useful, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions about any of these topics that I've mentioned today. And if you want me to do a deeper dive in any of these topics, please leave it down. See you in the next one.